UConn. UConn went over there and put a hurting on South Carolina, and I was definitely rooting for Staley, and hoping she do her thing, making some good calls or whatnot. But yeah, like, how did that happen?
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Oh my gosh. Like, pretty much they had no answer for their post. And everybody who, I mean, you have your page that's always going to hit. AZ Fudge, she's going to hit. And, some of their freshmen, Sarah Strong, I want to say, is a freshman. She was hitting at everything. But even the players that don't normally hit, they was all hitting in this game. Like, they were firing on all cylinders. Like, UConn just came out there and they just whooped South Carolina's behind. And it's like South Carolina just didn't have an answer. And it really started fouls early, and then also the posts. They just had no answer for the post. Chloe Kitts couldn't do it by herself. And South Carolina was they didn't have Ashlyn Watkins, who was another one of their big post players. She was injured, and none of the other post players, they could handle the paint with UConn's big. So that's pretty much where they killed them. That's all they really had to do was just attack the paint, because none of South Carolina's shots were falling. Nobody was making none of their big shots, not even Malaysia coming in off the bench. I mean, shoot, I think she came in for like a few seconds and had a turnover. As soon as she got in the game, I was like, what is going on? They just did not look like their normal selves. Like, I'm very sure they were prepared to play. They're ready to play. They've already been there. They know what it takes. They've been there. They have the recipes. They have all the answers. But shoot, they didn't have the answer for UConn that day. Like, and it really sucked because I really want to be biased. I love South Carolina. I don't want to blame it all on the refs. I do want to say that the refs pretty much gave UConn this win, but it's like they won by freaking 40 points. So I can't even say with like my chest out, like, yeah, the refs, gave them that game. So yeah, so I guess congratulations, UConn, or whatever.
This was kind of on brand for them, though, because they had already played South Carolina early in the season and they put a hurting on them the first time. And so for them to come back around and do it again, obviously same here. I'm rooting for, South Carolina to do their thing, and it just didn't turn out to be the night for South Carolina at all. Or it just might be this coach has Staley's number on how to make adjustments to beat her teams. I mean, like I said, post players making plays. You can call the refs, but 40 points, that's crazy. Not to mention, South Carolina has been doing this the entire, not South Carolina, UConn has done this the entire March Madness, the entire playoffs. They've done the tournament. They've done the entire time. Every team they've played, they double digits, double digits, double digits. And it's like 20, 30, 40 points they're putting up on teams. So, I mean, Jesus. I thought South Carolina was going to be able to hold their own, but clearly it was a one person show, and not to mention, Paige didn't even she wasn't even the biggest scorer on this one.
I'm telling you, everybody hand in this win. Everybody got the ball. Everybody was on the board. I want to say at least everybody was on the board for this game for UConn. I might be
It
wrong.
was. It,
A good
it was
amount
a
of
well
them.
game.
You're,
Yeah.
you're right
So
about that. So they had Sarah Strong had 24, Ozzy Fudd had 24, Paige had 17. Let's see, Caitlin Chen, she only had 2, and then Jenna I'm not gonna say her last name because I gonna mess that up. But she had 2 points on that one. And then you had KK Arnold coming off the bench. She had 9 points, and then also Ashlyn Shade had 4 points coming off the bench. So they had a very well-rounded team, shooting 48% from the field.
yeah.
Nah, this I wasn't able to watch it because I was at work. When I saw the score, I said this was a championship
What
game.
happened?
This was South Carolina. Um, dang. I was completely blown away. But this is just adds to UConn's legacy and their aura. And for Gino, bro, I don't know. People really recognize what Gino has done. Like he's been coaching for over 40 years, and the 40 years he's been at UConn, he's been in the he's been in the tournament half of that time. When he gets to this point, do y'all know this man's record in championship game?
Nah, what is it?
He's 12-1.
Okay, that's what I was about to say 12, but I
See,
wasn't.
that's cheating.
Bro, like if he gets to the chip, he winning. That is ridiculous. So it's like you spent half of your career, you in the tournament. UConn, if UConn's in the tournament, you know they going to the Elite Eight. They hit the Elite Eight, chances are they're gonna be in them fours. If they get to the chip, go ahead about your business. And so it's like this longevity, this this level of greatness is they put him. I know on first take, I know Stephen A. and a couple of they put him as as the greatest American coach out there. I'll probably put him in like top five, but
I don't know about the greatest.
I mean,
it's
he
hard. It's
his
hard.
his longevity is definitely something to take heed on. And honestly, he might be the best women's basketball coach.
I agree with that.
It could be
Oh
that
yeah,
because
he
I know
got
that
that.
Tennessee coach at one point in time before she passed away,
Yeah.
she was it,
No, she was great,
and she was it,
but
and so
12-1
I think
that puts him in a class of his own.
I here's the thing though. I think the reason why he's not given more accolades or even more visibility is because he's not flashy with it. And so when they win, it's
Is he-
kind of like we do this. I don't think he's flashy at all. I've seen his face for
no,
years.
he's not. But the thing is,
Yeah.
it's UConn, and that's kind of what makes it so great. Like it's UConn. Who wants to go to
Well,
Connecticut?
but here's the thing though. You got to look at UConn's men's team is kind of like something to be thinking about as well.
No, yeah, it's
UConn
the
as a
same thing.
basketball school is phenomenal. Not only that, instead of going to the Big 12 and moving on, they're in the Big East. They stayed in the Big East, which is a basketball conference. So, I give them all the credit, all in the world, to how dominant that school has been for college basketball. They've produced some great talent. And now, when you
Yeah,
have so many more eyes looking at women's basketball, women's sports, and you are, again, still the cream of the crop, you're going to have more people looking back at the history of UConn basketball, UConn women's basketball, asking these questions like, why haven't we known how great this team was or how great this program has been underneath this coach? He's definitely a Hall of Fame coach, and um, guys like that, I always wonder, could they do it in the WNBA? But, those are the games might be a little bit different.
I feel like he found his niche. I don't think I don't know. I feel like that could kind of like ruin his like legacy if he decided to just like hop into the
yeah,
WNBA. I feel like college was his sweet spot. I mean, college is, let's be real, college is way more competitive. Kids have way more riding on those games. It's a completely different world than, professional basketball. Not saying that he can't. He probably can and will crush it or whatever. But I don't know. I think he is a women's college basketball head coach, like one of the greatest. And I don't think he should tamper with that. I think he should just, finish it out there.
I
Did
agree.
we get the
I
did
agree.
we get the best Final Four, women's Final Four, or was that like a few years back with LSU, Iowa, South Carolina,
Oh,
and
mm,
what was
Well,
that last team?
I think, well, when I started watching women's college basketball for real, it was that LSU versus Iowa game. And let me tell you something,
That was
that game
huge.
there, I was like sitting on the edge of my seat that entire game because
yeah.
I didn't know LSU was gonna win. I didn't know if Iowa was gonna win. I know I wanted Iowa to lose, but I had no idea, but I was my eyes were glued to that game. That was a very good, like, it had all the hype, it had all the flashiness, it had, the rivalry, it had like everything is banking on this. LSU's having this like miraculous one time like go for it. You have Iowa that nobody's ever heard. I mean, people have heard about Iowa or whatever, but I mean, to be in a Final Four, a team like Iowa, nobody was really hearing that. So, I mean, both of those teams coming together with just all of, that was a really good matchup, and I enjoyed that game very much. So,
That was the game I had to see if this Caitlin Clark person was real.
yeah,
I just needed to know, like, is this real, or are we just hyping somebody up that's not really like that? And that girl
Shorty
is
with
every bit
I
of
like that.
100%. She's without a doubt, and I mean, I like Angela Reese. I like what she's doing off the court. I think her game on the court could definitely use a little bit
not
more work.
Angela, it's Angel.
Angel, my
It's
bad, Angel
Angel.
Reese.
Reese.
Angel Reese. I said Angela Reese, didn't I? Who's Angela?
Yeah, she
I,
ain't
I've been
56.
watching.
Nobody.
I've been watching Power. That's what it is. I've been watching Power. That's the problem. Um,
Man.
hey, look,
But Angel, she's come
but
a long way. She's taking advice
oh,
from, old heads. She's getting in the gym. She did well in Unrivaled. I think she was number one in rebounds in Unrivaled.
Or
So I think
she
she's
gonna
doing
stay
well.
that. I think
Yeah.
I think she I think if Angel develop a real shot, she gonna be,
She
dangerous.
got a mid
especially if she get
range
a bag.
on it.
She got a mid range, but she's also, I think Angel's like what, damn near 6'3", 6'4", something
Yeah,
like that.
6'3".
I think she get a little bag about her, and she get like a real, besides just a mid range, like
As
some
long
real
as
shot taking.
as long as she keeps working on her game, she's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she'll be good because she's legit a walking double double. So you always gonna get that. But
Yeah.
just that little addition to her game, I think she'll definitely be one of those. I'm gonna say guys, but one of those girls.
They had the Final Four in Tampa for women's Final Four, so I got a chance to go out there and look at the festivities. And you
Yeah.
know what? That game is in. They're in great hands. They're in great because I was always trying to figure out like is women's basketball really growing, and like how really like what is the following, and
What?
like because you hear about it, but like again, I'm one of those like I gotta see it to believe it type of people. So I gotta really see like watching Caitlin Clark against LSU. I gotta see if this chick is real or not, right? So I get a chance to go out there and try to see the festivities. They had Glorilla as the lead, and it was a free show too. So that was also dope. But
Okay.
like I got a chance to walk around and look at certain things. I'm like, man, this thing's gonna get really good in the next 5 years. Not to mention, like you got the following that showed up here in Tampa, which doesn't have a basketball WNBA team. They have a women's basketball for USF, but they're not like that. But on the other side, I saw so many like girls who are like athletes in like high school and whatnot, and they tall, like they're like giants. I'm like, oh yeah, this game's gonna be great. This game's gonna be great.
Yeah. It's definitely on the
I
up and
can't
up.
wait.
Yeah, same. It's exciting.